Hello, my friends. Welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. This is Jennifer. I have some fun things to share with you guys today. I did get the Sashiko top pieced. These were the blocks I shared with you guys last week that I had made from the OESD machine embroidery design. Last week I wasn't really sure what I would put with these blue blocks, but I had cut some white, just solid white squares. This is like 3 different kinds of white fabric because it's what I had in my stash, and that's what I'm trying to work with right now. I just wasn't really happy with them, so I tried something else, and the first thing that I tried were these peachy blocks, and they're just all different peaches from my stash, and I put them on the wall and just decided you totally lost the Sashiko, so I'm putting these aside for another project. After that, I stood and stared at the wall for a while. I decided to take the triangles that I had cut away from the blue squares. So all of these, when I trim these triangles off, that's what I put on all of these white squares. So I did the same pattern where you have a triangle top right, bottom left. I'm quite happy with it, but not sure when I'm going to quilt it. I don't have a back pulled for this yet, and it's been quite warm in my garage. On to Blue Quilt number 2. This is the Doctor Who quilt that I showed you guys last week. This is my eldest child's high school graduation quilt that I made. Honestly, designed and created the Doctor Who quilt along so that I could have a quilt for them. And fortunately, I had some really good friends who helped me by collaborating to design hand embroidery patterns because I didn't have time to do it all by myself. So they helped, and all of these patterns are on Fandom and Stitches. So this quilt's been well used, well loved for 11 years, and I showed you guys last week that some of the Daleks are coming apart. I did more assessment of it, and I took off all the binding to show you guys the state that it's in. So there are places most of the way around where the binding is actually split completely apart. So I just took all the binding off. That's gone. We're done with that. So I will replace the binding. And I had this all spread out looking at it. It's this top row that, would be the row under your chin, the row you're touching, you're tugging on, whatever. This border right here, this is what has the most damage. So these are the Daleks that need repair or replace, and this border is actually in worse shape than all the other borders. So my plan as of right now is to pick out the quilting across the top of the quilt, and I'm going to replace the border inside of the cornerstone. So that means 3 new Daleks and replacing this blue fabric. I also discovered there are several places on the quilt where the quilting has actually come out. I may have mentioned that last week. I don't remember. I did not have a frame when I quilted this. I was still free motion quilting just on my regular machine. But what I've discovered is that I was not using a stitch regulator at that time, and I'm doing lots of swirlies, and some of the stitches are, some of them are just long. They're poorly done, and I think I had been free motion quilting maybe a couple years when I did this on my domestic machine, and I'm happy with the way that the quilting looks, but there are places where it's just full on coming out. So I don't even know if you can see it or not, but there are places where you can see that there are places where there are just giant threads coming out. So I don't know how I'm going to address that yet. I'm thinking about going over it with a fine-tooth comb and flagging every spot like that and putting it on my frame and just quilting it back in. I can't think of another way to do it that doesn't involve taking it completely apart, which I don't think I have that in me. So I do want to make it as usable as possible for my kiddo, but I don't think that is the route that I want to take. I want to patch rather than replace everything. So that is on my agenda for the coming months. I did make one new thing over the weekend. I have been wanting to try this travel wallet on my new embroidery machine. This is an OESD design, not sponsored. I buy all this stuff myself. So this is a little passport wallet. So this was my test because I don't have a lot of vinyl to work with, and this was a full piece. It was like a, I don't know, 9 by 11 or something piece of vinyl. So little piece of fabric. This was just a scrap from my scrap bin. And I love this. It was so fun to make. This is larger than the hoop on the machine that I had for like 8 or 9 years. So I was never able to purchase designs this large. So I was really happy to be able to work on this project. I love the way it came out. I'd like to make a couple more in different vinyl, or you can even make it in cork, which would be really fun to do. I want to thank everyone who watched my jeans pocket tutorial. I released that on Friday. I've had some really good feedback from people. It's very short, so if you would like to know how I extend my jeans pocket, I'm talking front pockets where you put your hands in and you can barely get your fingertips in, which is just a thing in a lot of women's jeans. It's a tragedy, but it's a thing. So I figured out like years ago how to fix that for myself, and I had recently shared that I had done it again, and several people asked me to show how to do that. And since I'm kind of in a tutorial making mood again this year, I decided to go ahead and do it. So I did release a tutorial, 6 minutes long. It's very basic, very simple. You can make it fancier if you want, but for me, it's all about just being able to have a place to put my hands in my pockets. I like to put my keys in my pockets, that kind of thing. So you guys be sure and give that a watch, and a thumbs up and a subscribe, because honestly, the more feedback I get, the more likely I am to do more tutorials. I've been doing a lot of DIY, so I don't really have that to show, but I'm working on, as I mentioned last week, some chairs, and I'm working on doing some insulation in our garage. My mid-arm is in the garage, and it's been like 95 degrees in there, so it's obviously not a safe environment for me to spend hours quilting. So I haven't done any quilting recently. I'm doing a lot of sewing. I'm doing a lot of other projects and machine embroidery because I have a new machine, but not really any quilting. So my quilting, every time I make a new top, it's kind of backing up on me. So I do want to get that heat mitigated as much as I can. So far we've done insulation. I've had a dehumidifier in there for years because you have to have that where I live. I'm going from there just to see if I can knock that temperature down a little bit. So at least maybe I'll be able to quilt some in the mornings. Don't forget, it is July. So yesterday, our Talk to Me Tuesday block of the month posted. They are these 2 blocks that were chosen by Crystal. She also did the samples for these, and I don't have mine to show yet because I haven't made them yet. So make sure you go over and check those out. These are both traditionally pieced, so no paper piecing this month. And I hope to see your blocks. I'd love to see your videos. If you guys are following along, just be sure and let us know, because we'd love to see what you're working on. You guys have a great week. Have a crafty week. Hit like and subscribe. It would make a girl's day. And I will see you guys next week. Bye. P.S. More bird feeder camera by request.